Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. This show, we clearly are the luckiest show. We get Mason Fleming producing. We get Joan Jones for half of the broadcast. We get Ken Weaver for half of the broadcast. We get you guys on the phone lines, the text lines, the YouTube chat, 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. Appreciate y'all being here. There's a lot to get to today, and I'm very excited to have you join us. So just to lay of the land before we get going here, coming up at 10:05 today, we're going to have Stuart Parks in. Stuart is running for Congress, Tennessee's 7th congressional district, and we're going to have another edition of Come At Me, Bro, where we open up the phone lines and questions to you, the voters, the people of Middle Tennessee, for these politicians. Stuart is a J6er. He was described by one super texter as, and I quote, the only honest guy in the race. That's according to 6766. We'll talk to Stuart Parks. We'll find out if he is the only honest guy in the race. I'll ask him that directly. Any questions that you want to get in for Stuart, you're more than welcome to drop them in the chat, drop them in the comments, all the things, and we'll ask those questions. You're also going to be able to call up and talk to Stuart directly yourself, because that's what we do here. If you want to run for office and you want to come on the Chris Hand Show and you want to promote yourself, it's not really about me. It's really about you guys. So come at me, bro. You're going to have to answer questions from the voting public. We're really excited about that. I think that's gaining steam. I think it's gaining steam. I've opened up the invite to Marsha Blackburn for an edition of Come At Me, Bro.
Would definitely be interesting.
Come at me, sis. Come at me.
Bro is gender neutral.
Well, yeah, bro is gender neutral. Unless you're a member of the bro oligarchy.
Yeah, bro, dude.
Did you hear that on your way in?
No, I didn't. I missed that.
You missed all the new words?
Bro.
Like, I know Murphy and Cameron, they like to say that they have all the best words, but me and Dan have all the new words.
Ooh.
So there's new words that have been added. Skibbity got added to the dictionary.
Oh, no.
Delulu got added to the dictionary. Tradwife.
Okay, are these added to your dictionary or are they added to Webster's dictionary?
I believe it was Cambridge.
Oh, no.
Yep. Cambridge Dictionary. Is that the British version?
Yeah. Can we trust them?
Not since 1775.
True. Even then, that's pushing it.
We're pushing it. It was dicey in 75.
It's a little much.
So we got a lot to get to. Skibbity, as the kids say. Shout out to the Zoomers. What? Mason's rolling his eyes. Mason right now looks like Giorgia Meloni, the Italian prime minister, when Friedrich Merz, the chancellor of Germany, was trying to lecture Donald Trump yesterday. That's what you look like. You look like an Italian female prime minister right now.
I don't know if that's a good thing or I don't think that's a good thing.
Oh, we'll show you the eye roll later in the show. There is a lot to get to. It makes your head spin so fast you feel a little delulu. Sorry, I'm just doing it for Mason at this point. I'm just doing it for Mason.
You just want the head shakes. That's all you want.
I explained to Virginia what a tradwife was last night, and she went, "Oh, these terms are acceptable." That's what she said.
That's Delulu.
That's what she said. All right, let's start with the sit down with Zelensky. That's where everything really kind of kicked off. Was inside the Oval Office. We had the sit down. We had reporters there, and there was some jokes. It wasn't all serious. It was lighthearted. And I don't know about you, but as soon as it got like a little lighthearted with Zelensky inside the Oval Office, my hope meter just rose gradually, and it kept rising throughout the day. I feel like if there's any chance for peace, the window is as open as it's going to be currently. We'll see what happens, but we're going to go through all the different events that happened yesterday, and we'll get your instant reaction as well. 615-737-9986. You're more than welcome to join in, add your opinion, your take, because that's really what matters at the end of the day. All right, so the lighthearted moments. Let's begin with, sir, thank you for wearing a suit. Yeah.
President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said
You look good. You look fab. He did look a bit like a Ukrainian mobster. Would you rock that suit?
He's rocking the all black, which I think is kind of just in his color palette. It's all he ever seems to wear.
What do? The girls do the color testing. They're like, I'm a summer. Do you do that? Right? Girls do that.
I believe
I have
so.
no idea what the specifics are behind it, but
I
I've
don't
heard,
either, but
I know so many females that are like do the TV and do the influencing. They're like,
yeah.
all of them. Anytime 2 or 3 or more get together, they'll be like, I did my color palette. I'm a winter. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? I don't know. Zelensky's color pattern, it's just dark and gloomy. Is that what you're going for?
Edge? I don't know.
Very, very Eastern Europe. But he's wearing a suit, and he looks fabulous.
You look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good on
I
you.
said it's the one that attacked you last time. See, now he's I remember that.
I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed you out.
Oh, my gosh. He got roasted. I didn't have it on my bingo card that Zelensky was going to come in and roast the same reporter that roasted him the last time. Yet here we are. It's 2025. Weird things are happening.
We're moving towards peace.
And we're moving towards peace. This is what it looks like. It's a process. I really wish that I could see that reporter's face. I guarantee you went bright red.
Oh, probably not a part of his color.
And these guys, like, a lot of people think that just because you're in TV or just because you're an online influencer, you must be making like buku bucks. That's not the reality. It's just not. You're living in an area that has an exorbitant cost of living. It's insane. Whether you're in D.C. or in Northern Virginia, the cost of living is insane. Joan, back me up. Cost of living up there, wild. Wild. Joan lived there. She's not going to back me up. That's fine. She even back there?
Yeah, she's working with Sam. They're training on some new stuff.
All right. Well, she would back me up if Sam wasn't distracting her. I guarantee it.
Oh, I believe you 100%.
So
Maybe.
the cost of living is high. These reporters aren't millionaires. A lot of them are just grinding it out. And I believe the guy that he was talking to is a Newsmax reporter, or even it might even be Real America's Voice. But there's not a lot of money in it. There's not. And Zelensky absolutely wrote. There's a lot of money in being an Eastern European president when your country's a laundromat for American currency. There's a lot of money in that. So Zelensky had a nice suit. It was an Eastern European mafia suit, but it was nice. There was another lighthearted moment when Donald Trump brought up the fact that the elections can't happen in Ukraine because there's a war going on, and then Donald Trump had this idea. Oh, geez. I wonder what would happen if there's a war in America in 3.5 years.
Upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances. And a little bit, we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, maybe, how to say, we need a truth, yes. Everywhere, in the battlefield, in the sky, and the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say
we're ready.
during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good. I wonder what the fake
You like
news
this
is.
idea?
Leftist reporters melting down. Trump. How can he do this? Fun fact: he did hand. There's rumors that Trump handed Zelensky a Trump 2028 hat. Have you seen this? This is outside the realm of what happened inside the Oval Office, but there's a pic going around, and Autism Capital on X, put it up on the screen for me. Autism Capital, which is one of the best accounts that you can follow on X, just for the record. Autism Capital. He said, Zelensky, let me get you a 4 more years cap from the MAGA closet. And it's Trump with a couple world leaders. I believe that's Macron and Zelensky, and he's in the merch closet at the White House. And then it says underneath, other great choices include Trump 2028, Trump was right about everything, and Gulf of America. Incredible. The best president. There'll never be another president like him. Which one would you take, Mason? 4 more years?
I like the 4 more years.
I feel like 4 more years works no matter what year it is. Just give me 4 more. This doesn't matter.
That's all I'm looking for.
Sign me up. Sign me up. All right. So then what we really are looking for, though, is a peace deal. And the White House posted this photo of Vladimir Zelensky, Donald Trump walking into the Oval Office, and it said pursuing peace. And I think that all jokes aside, this has been the main focus of President Trump. We've seen it. 7 peace deals, 7 months. This is the big one. He thought it would be the easiest. It's becoming the most difficult. But it does seem like we have the door cracked open. And if anybody can kick that thing wide open, it's going to be Donald Trump. And we saw that in progress yesterday. And we're seeing a lot of movement. CBS is reporting that currently 70% of Ukrainians support a negotiated peace deal. 70%. There's a lot of talk of, well, you can't cede land because it's in the Constitution that everybody needs to vote. And it's like, that's really nice. That's really great talking points. Zelensky added that to the Constitution, by the way. Zelensky added that. But another point of reference is even if it was put up to a vote, 70% of Ukrainians now support a negotiated peace deal. And this isn't my reporting. This is CBS's reporting.
A recent poll found that nearly 70% of Ukrainians now support a negotiated peace deal. That's up from just over 20% at the start of the invasion.
20% at the start of the invasion, 70% right now. The appetite for war in Eastern Europe is nosediving. Nosediving. The meat grinder in Eastern Europe, nobody wants to be a part of it. They don't want to lose their fathers, their brothers, their sons, their uncles, their cousins anymore. And that's all this is turning into. It's just a recipe for disaster. We need peace. Donald Trump is trying to make it happen. Donald Trump's trying to make it happen. Now, after everything that went down yesterday, we had the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, really singing Donald Trump's praises on the Laura Ingraham program, talking about President Trump is a peacemaker. He's using pressure, but he's looking for ways to solve this.
Let me first say that this was a very successful day. And I agree with you that President Trump is a pragmatic peacemaker, as you, I think, said. What he did this year, breaking the deadlock, starting the conversation with Putin, but also putting pressure. We have had the NATO summit, the 5%, which was a big foreign policy success of President Trump. And
yeah, low key, getting the NATO up to 5% of their spending, that adds a lot of pressure in this scenario. Right? Like, not enough praise has been given to Donald Trump for making NATO members commit to that 5% and ante up.
Then he decided to, again, have lethal weapons go into Ukraine paid for by the Europeans. And he put secondary sanctions, tariffs on India. So he's putting pressure, but he is also looking for ways to solve this, to bring this war to an end. So today was very successful. We discussed the security guarantees. We will work on those over the coming days and then have another meeting virtually with this group of leaders and the president. And then we will work towards this trilateral. And he was able, in a conversation with President Putin, to have Putin to agree to first a meeting between Putin and Zelensky. So they will now discuss where that meeting will take place in the run-up to the trilateral. So all in all, a very successful day.
Very successful day. Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte. Yesterday felt different. Like, I've seen Trump with world leaders before where they go to, the G7. They'll go to NATO summits. They'll do all these things. Yesterday felt so different. It felt like we didn't just see the leader of America. It felt like we saw the leader of the free world. When you summon those leaders to the White House, it takes a whole different perspective to really appreciate what just happened. And the Secretary General of NATO, he's absolutely right. Trump is not only applying pressure, he's also the only guy that's really pushing for peace. And he went a bit further in this interview with Laura Ingraham, saying without Trump, the deadlock would have never been broken.
The conversation was a conversation among friends, among close allies who respect each other, who like each other, who know each other very well, discussing how we can bring this terrible war to an end. And this is a goal we all have in common. And without President Trump, this deadlock with Putin would not have been broken. He was the only one who could do that, starting in February.
He's the only one that could do this. Now, a lot of the world leaders echoed that same sentiment during their sit-down. We'll get to that, plus the sit-down with Zelensky and the relevant audio there as well on the way. Don't forget, Stuart Parks running for Congress, Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. He's going to be joining us at 10:05 for another edition of Come At Me, Bro, where you guys can ask him any question you want to ask. Join us live on YouTube. We'll have video for all the audio you're hearing. Hit like and subscribe. I got a lot of kids to feed, and those likes really help us move the needle. Appreciate it when you do so. It's 9:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and it is back to school season. You know that. We all know that. We feel it on the roads. We feel it. But Busy Bee is going to bring you some big savings and sweet giveaways just in time for back to school. You got septic issues? Don't wait. Right now, you can get 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes just in time for the new school year. Maybe you need to upgrade your HVAC unit, and you've been waiting. You've been kicking the can. It's time to do it. If you do it with Busy Bee, you're going to be automatically entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway. That's a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. That's really going to make a difference in the classroom. And here's a gift that you can give a teacher that is far sweeter than a red apple. You join the Beehive Club, and you can gift a free membership to a local teacher, coach, or faculty member. It's that simple. Buy one, gift one. Plus, you can breathe easier with $100 off indoor air quality products. All you got to do is call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. Schedule your visit today. 615-775-7833. Or find them online, busybeehvac.com. If you didn't have the gig that you have and you're not at the White House, you're not the reporter, would you raise a family in that area?
Absolutely not.
And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
It's brutal out here. It can be really, really tough. I don't live in D.C. proper anymore because it's just gotten kind of out of control. It's gotten dirtier, it's gotten more crowded, and a lot more violence, as you just alluded to. But my first year living here, I was seeing a lot of that, and it grew very quickly. So I moved here, I would say, in 2023. By the time I moved out after a year, it got really crowded. It got really messy. I remember getting emails from my apartment complex saying that there was a shooting just across the street, and it was maybe every other weekend. And I was saying, what decision did I make to even live here? I mean, obviously close proximity to the White House, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
But wow, what a difference a year makes under a leadership that doesn't really care that much about crime.
Coming up, where are we in the Russia-Ukraine peace talks? And we have the fatal end to a home break-in. All of that and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I mentioned a moment ago about Marsha Blackburn coming in for Come At Me, Bro. A lot of people think that she won't do it. So
Oh, really?
I'm wrapping up a text right now.
Texting her specifically or her people's?
Her people's. I don't have her cell phone number.
Would have been cool.
Would have been cool.
Would have been cool.
No, I don't have hers. I got Burchett's number.
That is cool.
I could text him. He's not running for anything currently.
Yeah, but I mean, he's always cool to talk to.
Come at me, bro. Well, the text is in their hands now. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, fingers crossed, right?
And we do have Stuart Parks coming in here. I got a text from him. He's on the way. He's going to be joining us at 10:05 for another edition of Come At Me, Bro. He's running for Tennessee's 7th congressional district seat, the one that was vacated by Mark Green. So we'll have him in a little while. And we got a lot to get to on the peace front between Russia and Ukraine. Now, Trump on the meetings, I think he was pretty pleased. He put this post on True Social where he laid it all out. And it did feel like he's feeling rather confident about what happened. He said, I had a very good meeting with distinguished guests. President Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine, President Emmanuel Macron of France, President Alexander Stubb of Finland. Anybody else wonder why Finland's there? Did we need Finland? I don't mean, sorry.
Don't they share a border with Russia?
But the Finnish, are we worried about them? Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni of Italy, Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom, Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, Friedrich Merz, President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, in the White House, which ended in a further meeting in the Oval Office. During the meeting, we discussed security guarantees for Ukraine, which guarantees would be provided by the various European countries with a coordination with the United States of America. Everyone is very happy about the possibility for peace between Russia and Ukraine. At the conclusions of the meetings, I called President Putin and began the arrangements for a meeting at a location to be determined between Putin and Zelensky. After that meeting takes place, we will have a trilat, which would be the two presidents plus myself. Again, this was a very good early step for a war that has been going on for almost 4 years. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff are coordinating with Russia and Ukraine. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's Donald Trump's view on it. What does Vladimir Zelensky think of it? I'll tell you after the headlines with Joan Jones. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There is a crash this morning you want to know about. This is in Whites Creek on Briley Parkway westbound at Brick Church Pike. That's exit 17. And that crash is causing some delays this morning from I-65 north exit 16A. That's a pretty sizable delay in that area. President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky, there are striking optimistic tones. But ABC's Ian Pannell is reporting to us this morning that Russian President Vladimir Putin may be pushing back.
Russia is opposed to any idea of a NATO contingent to try and provide these security guarantees. And the thorniest issue of all, Russia's demands for 20% of Ukrainian territory, not yet even under serious discussion. So despite the upbeat mood in Washington and from their own president, honestly, war-weary Ukrainians see no immediate change in the landscape and no end to the war in sight.
Meantime, Tennessee U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty saying that if peace is possible, it'll require Russia to bend a little.
Well, the last thing I want to do is make any excuses for Putin. But at the same time, there are portions of Ukraine that are Russian-speaking. You think about Crimea. Look, Putin took Crimea in 2014 under Obama. For Zelensky to say that's got to come back as part of the deal, that's never been a very realistic claim.
Senator Hagerty speaking there on the Matt Murphy Show yesterday. An investigation underway now after a shooting at a Christiana home that left a man dead. WSMV4's Alexandria Adams.
Happened on Saturday. Authorities telling us the man forcefully tried to enter the home when a guest at that home grabbed a gun and shot him several times. Now, so far, the sheriff's office has not released that person's name.
Yes, that man who allegedly tried to break in, according to the sheriff's office, is from Rutherford County. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand. For my friends at United Structural Systems, you know them as USS. And when it comes to home repairs, especially waterproofing and foundation repair, we put the blinders on. We try not to see the warning signs. Like, it's just a little crack, no big deal. It's just a little water in the crawl space. What am I worried about? And you'll think the problem will go away. With the waterproofing, sure, it'll dry up. But when the rain comes back, so is the problem with the foundation stuff. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to get worse. And the same can be said about the waterproofing. If you leave the water standing in your crawl space or basement, it's going to lead to mold. It's going to lead to wood rot. That's going to lead to foundation issues. What are you doing? Stop pretending it's not there. Call United Structural Systems today. They've helped over 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. And when they show up, they're not about sales pressure. They're about solutions. They're not worried about their quota. They're worried about the issue at your home. And when they leave behind a warranty that is good for life. So whether it's foundation repair or waterproofing, trust the guys that stand behind their work. Trust the guys that have been doing it for 30 years. That's United Structural Systems. If you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS today. 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. And you can always find them online, USSTN.com. Sure is. 937 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Mason, you're getting shouted out in the YouTube chat. Did you see that?
Oh, am I?
Yeah, people are dropping requests. Mason, during the commercial breaks, if you're watching on YouTube, Mason is playing extra content during the commercial breaks when we don't have commercials to play on the live stream.
Trying to make that Be Right Back screen a little more entertaining.
So a lot of people, big fans.
Yeah, they're enjoying it.
Big fans. So
throwing up some of the shorts we're throwing up on YouTube.
Mason's been crushing it.
Just trying to make it a little more interesting.
Give him another 30 minutes. He'll mess something up. We'll take that away.
Yeah, just wait till lightning round for sure.
Just like we did yesterday. I give him his flowers, then I'll take him later in the show.
He stomps on him in front of me. It's great.
Channeling my Elizabeth Warren.
It's great. It's a great back and forth.
All right, so we had a big deal yesterday. We had a huge summit inside the White House. All of the European leaders, and that means something, and the Finnish president. Then we had Zelensky there as well. Trump on the meetings was very positive. Zelensky on the meetings, if you're looking on the screen, he posted a long tweet that I'll translate for you because I'm fluent, clearly, in all of this. If you're watching on the screen, what is that? What language do they speak? Is it Ukrainian? I don't have any idea.
It's one of the Slavic languages. Hold up. Let me pull it up.
This is what Zelensky said. Today, important negotiations took place in Washington. We discussed many issues with President Trump. It was a long and detailed conversation, including discussions about the situation on the battlefield and our steps to bring peace closer. There were also several meetings in a format with European leaders and the President of the United States. We discussed security guarantees. This is a key issue, a starting point towards ending the war. We appreciate the important signal from the United States regarding its readiness to support and be a part of these guarantees. A lot of attention today was given to the return of our children, to release the prisoners of war and civilians held by Russia. We agreed to work on this. The U.S. president also supported a meeting at the level of leaders. Such a meeting is necessary to resolve sensitive issues. I thank President Trump for the invitation and for today's special format of our meeting. I also thank all of the leaders who are with us today. Today was an important step, a demonstration of genuine unity between Europe and the United States. The leaders personally came to support Ukraine and to discuss everything that will bring us closer to a real peace, to a reliable security architecture that will protect Ukraine and all of Europe. We continue our work, coordinating our steps with all allies who strive to end this war with dignity. I thank everyone who is helping. That is Zelensky's reaction to the day. Sounds pretty positive. It does. It sounds like a lot of the fears that they've had are being resolved in these closed-door meetings. Now, publicly, Donald Trump has been just bashed because he didn't get a ceasefire. He didn't walk out of the Alaska meeting with a ceasefire. And he addressed that yesterday during the presser with the world leaders, the fact that there was no ceasefire in place. And Donald Trump essentially said, chill. Just chill for a second. None of the other wars I negotiated, he said, or a few of them, didn't have ceasefires as well.
All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire, and so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war. But it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult. They're very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result.
Working and having a great result. That's what they're going to continue to work towards. I do like the fact that he's open about, I thought this was going to be a lot easier than it was. You know, a lot of people have given the president grief about that. I'd end that war on day one. Obviously, he wasn't being totally serious with that statement, but it hasn't ended yet. And a lot of people are harping on him about that. And he says, it's a little bit more difficult than I thought. A little bit tougher. But they're using that to bludgeon him at times. And it's kind of wild because he's still working towards it. And he summoned all of these world leaders to the White House yesterday. He summoned them. It's like the bat phone rang. It's Trump. Instead of it being a red phone, it's orange. And they had to go to D.C. And all the leaders that went to D.C., they sang Donald Trump's praises. I mean, straight down the line. Let's hear from Finnish President Alexander Stubb. He sang Donald Trump's praises, saying in the past 2 weeks, nobody has done more to end this war than Donald Trump.
I think in the past 2 weeks, we've probably had more progress in ending this war than we have in the past 3.5 years.
More progress in the last 2 weeks than the last 3.5 years. Who would you give credit for that to? think you give credit to Donald Trump. Honestly. How about Germany's Chancellor, Friedrich Merz? He also had very nice things to say about Donald Trump, saying that the path to peace is open, and that path is open because Donald Trump opened that path. Again, in contrast to these statements, think about what the conversation would have looked like if Biden had been at the head of the table. This is the Chancellor of Germany.
President Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington. The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday, but now the way is open for complicated negotiations.
The path is opened, and you opened it last Friday. You did. President Trump opened the path to peace. I don't see any of these clips being played on mainstream media. Have you? Have you? No. That's weird. It's almost like they don't want you to know that President Trump is basically doing this on his own, making these leaders sit down, making these leaders have these conversations. It goes on. We could do this all day. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni.
President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed thanks to you.
Something is changing and something has changed thanks to you. That's weird. That's weird. You know, all of these world leaders are giving Donald Trump the credit, yet our own media can't seem to bring themselves to do it. Now, let's be honest. It wasn't all sunshine and roses. At one point, the Chancellor of Germany, the German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, was lecturing Trump about a ceasefire. But as this is going on, and if you're watching on the stream, you'll get the video elements as well. You see the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, rolling her eyes nonstop. And when you listen to these comments, your eyes may roll a bit too. Again, this is the German Chancellor, Merz, lecturing Donald Trump about a ceasefire.
Let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to...
She's not impressed. I mean, we hit the quota for eye rolls.
That last look was devastating. Just like,
oh my gosh. She's like, I think she's thinking, President Trump, please don't kill him.
Please restrain yourself.
Please don't kill that man. But everybody. I mean, even that's the harshest criticism that we got. And it wasn't really that harsh. And it was met with eye rolls from the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. How about the French President, Emmanuel Macron? What did he have to say about Donald J. Trump?
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this meeting and for your commitment. And everything was said, but I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it.
The only way to fix it. Also, I need to speak with you about Candace Owens after the meeting. You know that's coming.
Just a quick sidebar.
She's still talking about my wife. Dog, you said you were going to talk to her.
I thought you said she'd stop.
Bro, you said just sue her. I did. She's still talking about my wife.
My wife.
My wife. With a French accent. He does. He sounds like a frog, doesn't he?
Just a little bit.
He sounds like a frog. All right. What about British Prime Minister Keir Starmer? What does he have to say about the events that transpired yesterday?
I think this is such an important meeting. As a group, I think we've had a discussion on the phone a number of times, Mr. President, but be able now to be around the table to take it forward. And I really feel that we can, I think, with the right approach this afternoon, make real progress, particularly on the security guarantees, and your indication of security guarantees, of some sort of Article 5 style guarantees, fits with what we've been doing with the Coalition of the Willing, which we started some months ago, bringing countries together and showing that we were prepared to step up to the plate when it came to security. With you coming alongside, the US alongside what we've already developed, I think we could take a really important step forward today. A historic step, actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe. I also feel that we can make real progress towards a just and lasting outcome. Obviously, that has to involve Ukraine, and a trilateral meeting seems the sensible next step. So thank you for being prepared to take that forward, because I think if we can ensure that that is the progress out of this meeting, both security guarantees and some sort of progress on trilateral meeting of some sort to bring some of the difficult issues to a head, then I think today will be seen as a very important day in recent years in relation to a conflict which has gone on for 3 and a bit years, and so far nobody's been able to bring it to this point, so I thank you for that.
Nobody's been able to bring it to this point. Nobody except for one Donald J. Trump. And I said it at the beginning of this, like, just contrast this to Joe Biden. You know, like imagine even trying to have Joe Biden as the head of that table. Nobody would take him serious. Didn't they leave Joe Biden out of a group photo at one of the G7s because he got lost? He had to change his Depends or something.
Yeah, he was over in the bushes somewhere.
I mean, who would you rather have as the leader of the free world? The upgrade is immense.
Homeland Security Secretary, I'm not sure going to introduce you all the way.
Oh, yeah. Would you prefer that guy?
But when you middle from the bill.
That's a classic.
That's a good one.
That's when you middle from the biddle.
When you middle from the biddle.
You remember that?
Oh,
it was so funny. He said, when you middle from the biddle, poor people have a shot. It's like, what the hell?
Ooh.
What the hell, man?
The upgrade is immense.
Rich folks are going to do okay, and bad poor people have a shot. You just got to middle from the middle, baby. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. There's been no middling from the biddling for Donald J. Trump. He's just been executing at an absolutely high level. It's been fantastic to see the world leaders fall in line behind the leader of the free world, President Donald J. Trump. And I do think that this is going to lead to peace. If there's one leader that can do it, it's 45-47, and we're seeing it happen in real time. Keep the prayers going. Let's not make any assumptions. Let's keep our hopes high, and let's keep those prayers rolling, because that's what we need to pray for. Pray for peace. It's 9:51. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Brink Fiddler over at Defense Systems. Now, what is Defense Systems? Well, I'm going to tell you about it. I've personally taken this training from Defense Systems, and it's incredible. You're going to learn real-life skills that could literally save someone's life. Now, when I'm learning these skills, how to apply a tourniquet, how to stop the bleeding from a bullet hole, and where, it's incredible. I hope I never have to use these skills, but I'm grateful that I have them. Defense Systems is a life safety and security consulting firm, and they specialize in physical security and active violence mitigation training. These guys have trained everybody: schools, corporations, healthcare facilities, law firms, manufacturing plants, even country music tours. Here in Nashville, Cumulus brought them into the station, and they trained our entire team, and it's eye-opening. This isn't just check the box and be done kind of training for safety. It's giving you and your employees real-life skills that you can use anywhere, even outside of work. They've trained over 30 Middle Tennessee schools. Has your child's school had this training? Because active violence events are on the rise, and sometimes danger spills into everyday places. Are you ready for that? If a loved one is critically injured, do you know what to do? If the answer to that question is no, don't wait until it's too late. Visit defensesystems.com or call 615-236-6484. That's 615-236-6484. That call could save a life. So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights, to build trust, and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
A judge takes control of a Shelbyville business out of the hands of its owners. And the woman known as the Ketamine Queen is headed to prison. That's coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. It's 9:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by a very special guest. His name is Stuart Parks, and he's running for the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee, Mark Green's vacated seat. Welcome to the show, Stuart. How are you, man?
Doing well, thank you for having me.
Well, hey, man, we're happy to have you here. You're going to be joining us for another edition of Come At Me, Bro, where we let the listeners come at you with any question that they have. Are you ready for that?
Yes, sir.
It got pretty heated last time. The last time we did this, we had John Rosen here, and people said that Come At Me, Bro tanked his campaign. That's what they said.
Wow.
So
wow.
No pressure.
Yes, that's all right. That's all right.
Stuart is a J6 Patriot. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about this story and what happened to you on January 6th, what it was like to get that pardon, and why you've decided to run for office. Before we get into the big, long story, give me your 30-second elevator pitch on why somebody should vote for you for the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee.
Yes, sir. Well, the reason why I share with people that they need to vote for me is because I'm one of the only candidates that's born and raised in the district. I'm an unvaccinated Tennessee Christian conservative. I was peacefully present at January 6th, and unfortunately, the FBI raided me, threw me in prison for being a Christian conservative Republican. And let's face it, if I was a Democrat or anything else, or even if I had turned my back on the Republican Party, I would have gotten a sweetheart deal and avoided prison time, but I didn't, and went to a third world prison in Memphis because of that. And and I'm also, very pro gun. I believe in a strong economy, strong borders. So be an honor to have people's support.
You had me at unvaccinated.
Oh, thank you.
We'll talk to Stuart Parks when we get back. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
WWTN, Hendersonville, Nashville, from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
And the Mark Spain Real Estate WTN Newsroom. Information-fueled, opinion-driven.
This is Nashville's news and talk leader.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Has been problematic.
I see near misses happen, maybe like 1 out of every 20 cars.
A Hawk system which signals a red light when pedestrians are waiting for the crosswalk. It'll be installed there later this year. Got an update to a story we brought you yesterday when Perry County schools closed their doors due to an online threat posted in a suicide chat room. Well, now a 17-year-old boy has been arrested for making that threat. The Sheriff's Office and Tennessee Office of Homeland Security were investigating after that boy allegedly posted that he had been bullied, had a gun, and was ready to end it all. It is official. A judge has placed Shelbyville's Uncle Nearest and its distillery under receivership after the founders, Faith and Keith Weaver, defaulted on $108 million in loans. Both sides, the Weavers and Farm Credit Mid-America, have until tomorrow to make recommendations on who they think that receiver should be. Farm Credit says not only has the couple not repaid its loans, but it overstated its collateral by declaring it has more whiskey barrels than they actually do have, and by purchasing a $2 million home in Martha's Vineyard using funds that were meant for the business. We're learning about the deployment of U.S. destroyers off the coast of Venezuela. Reuters reports those ships will arrive before the weekend as part of an effort to address threats from Latin American drug cartels. In February, the Trump administration designated several of those cartels as global terrorist organizations. And federal prosecutors say the woman who supplied Friends star Matthew Perry with dozens of doses of ketamine has agreed to plead guilty in connection with his death.
Jasveen Senga's guilty plea will be the 5th in connection with Matthew Perry's death. Federal prosecutors say the woman dubbed the ketamine queen admitted to selling ketamine to a man who died in 2019. Prosecutors also allege that Sengha told others to delete their communications in the hours after Perry died in October 2023. Sengha was scheduled to go on trial this month. Her lawyer says she's taking responsibility for her actions. Brian Clark, ABC News.
And she does face decades in prison. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
This is where he talks about you.
Talks about me?
Yeah. Aside from hand, most of you are clearly intelligent, based in the real world type of people. He seems to be longing for a handmaiden type society. I predict he will be an extreme short timer.
Weird.
Odd. What are you at now? A couple years?
Yeah.
Again, didn't age well.
I love how he said, you guys are smart aside from hand.
I know.
That's my favorite part. It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. In studio with a candidate for Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. His name is Stuart Parks. You may have heard his name before. He's been featured on programs on this station like The Matt Murphy Show, where he talks about his experience as a political prisoner because of his role in J6. And I think that's a good place to start. We don't have to rehash the whole thing because it's been discussed ad nauseum, I'm sure. Are you tired of telling the story?
I'm not, because it was so atrocious. Like last night, Houston County had a sold out city hall for the January. They call it January 6th Heroes Night, and so I mean, more people wanting to know what actually happened. So no, sir, I'm not, because I don't want to ever go back to that again.
Well, I love that you're not going to let that go away, and I think that we should highlight it. Your friend Colton Maccabee, my friend Colton Maccabee, who we featured on this program, another J6 political prisoner, he texted me. He's like, hey, man, you got to get Stuart on your show. I was like, absolutely. Like, I'll get Stuart on, so I'm glad you're here. What happened on J6 for you?
Yes, sir. Well, the whole point of January 6th, we were just going to be peacefully present, go to events. I mean, we're upset. We know the election was stolen. It was fraud. Trump won, Biden didn't. And so we were, peacefully present. We were led to believe we could go close to the building, and then we, get the doors open, and we go into the building. And so, I walked around the building. I can remember seeing Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman. I mean, he was pretty subdued, law-abiding citizen. Non-threatening, really nice guy. I can remember being near where Ashley Babbitt was murdered, and people were running through the hallways. Like, almost got stampeded in the hallway because there was so many people running away, because it was a very frightening scene. I can remember people screaming, "I got blood on me!" Like, I mean, just really eye-opening scenario.
Chaos.
Yes, sir. And then I was in the building for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then the National Guard came in and made it clear we needed to vacate the building, which we did. And then from that moment on, when I got home the next day, my life changed forever. I mean, I was listed like FBI's most wanted, for simply just entering a building that the police let us in.
It's crazy.
Yes, sir.
The doors were open for you.
Yes, sir.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then once I got in, I was a very, very short time afterward, the police greeted us and said, we're with you, we hear you, we understand you. Never once when I was in the building, they said, get out, you're breaking the law, we're going to arrest you. I never once was threatened with arrest. And the police, people were like taking selfies with the cops, around me, and police were, friendly, just hanging out with us. And, it was totally different from what the fake news presented January 6th as to be.
So you leave the Capitol that day. You head back home to Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
And you're like, okay, that was wild, but it's over.
Yeah.
That's what you thought.
Well, yeah, I just treated it like, a Tennessee Vols football game, just, okay, life goes on, but no, like life.
Then you get the...
Yeah.
Or was it a no-knock?
No, it was not. That was a very polite knock. It was not. No,
Okay.
The counterterrorism unit of the FBI kicked down my door. And I was working in a project in Columbia, Tennessee at my house. And, 5:53 a.m. in the morning, they came in, didn't even give me a chance to get out of bed. Glass is flying in the living room from the door. And they're already in my room, full body, military gear, military style machine guns pointing at my bedroom door, give me arrest instructions, and I get dragged to jail.
And then how long did you spend in jail?
Well, the difference between prison and jail, so jail, I was in jail for just a few hours, and thank God, it's a miracle. I was nonviolent and didn't tear up anything, but there's even people that did the same thing I did, and they got held in jail. But I posted bond, my own bond, because they just decided not to lie about me. So
by the grace of God, there's many people that didn't get that luxury.
Oh, Colton McAbee, bless his heart. I mean, that's a true hero, and they treat him horrific, way worse than me.
We have a whole 2-hour sit down with Colton McAbee on our YouTube page if you want to hear his story. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, he was talking last night in Houston County, and it was just, stunning. The room was just shocked at his story. Great guy and, true hero. So,
Amen.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, and then, so to answer your question about the prison side, I was sentenced to 8 months in federal prison.
So, let's back up a second. So you post bond, you get out, and then you got to go to court.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so explain that process.
Yeah, so this was during the COVID era, so you
got to zoom in?
Well, in a majority of the hearings, yes, sir. And then my co-defendant, they actually lied about him and said he felony assaulted a cop. So it's kind of, we were unique because we were together, so they tried us as co-defendants. Most people were tried individually.
Yes.
So we had to file a severance, and he went his way, I went my way, and he ended up pleading guilty and got 3 months, which, hats off to him for avoiding a 5-year prison sentence. And whereas me, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not, gonna, plead guilty, plead out. I didn't commit a crime, and argued with them. Just many months, years afterwards. My trial wasn't until 2023. And the part of the plea deals, they would try to get you to turn on Trump or, apologize or show any signs of remorse. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I didn't commit a crime. And, my trial happened, and it was just all a farce.
And what were you charged with exactly?
Yes, sir. So I was charged the usual federal misdemeanors, which was, parading, trespassing, and then I was being silly at the Capitol, and I picked up a metal detector wand, and I put it back, and they charged me with theft of government property. And we had every evidence in the world. The Capitol Hill police testified that nothing was missing. We had the inventory list that showed nothing was missing from the Capitol, even video footage of me leaving the Capitol with nothing in my hand. And the judge, the communist Obama-appointed judge, said that I was guilty of asportation, and I didn't even know what that means. I had to look it up in the dictionary, but he said it's the carrying away. I deprived the Capitol Hill police 10 minutes of the use of that wand.
Gosh.
I couldn't believe it.
How could you?
Yeah. I know.
All right.
I know.
You lost our vote.
I'm sorry.
That's two. That's two on Come At Me, Brother.
Yeah.
Just tanked their campaign.
I know.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
We're talking with Stuart Parks, who is a J6 political prisoner. He's free now. All right, so you go through the trial process. You get sentenced. What runs through your mind?
I'm still... I mean, that's a great question. So I'm still have a glimmer of hope, a very small glimmer of hope of getting this appealed, because each time I'm like, trying to put the brakes on this injustice.
Right.
And I fought him in court. I'm found guilty. Now I'm trying to just, community service. home confinement, anything but prison.
Right.
And then November 15th, my sentencing date, he's like, you're going to prison. And yeah, I know. So now I'm trying to do the next big thing. I'm really trying to like pull every break on this thing. And now we go into the appeals court, and we like immediately filed the appeals. I think it was November 24th. You know, now I'm like, hurry up. And it's awful because Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and the court.
You know it's going to drag on.
Yeah, and the courts, you know, they have to take 2 years off for Christmas, and it's just it's so frustrating. And February 6th was my self-surrender date,
so that's just looming out there. You're staring that down like you're staring down the barrel.
Exactly, I know, and I'm doing everything I can. Just stop, you know, the injustice. Just I don't want to go to prison. Delay, do something. And so finally that day comes, and I just can't believe it. Like Tennessee started a great job. They covered my self-surrender. Everybody's calling me. My friends can't believe it. Of all the people in my friend group, they're like, you know, you're going to prison. They can't believe it. And it really didn't hit. Reality didn't hit until I got to FCI Memphis, and with the guard towers and the barbed wire fence and the, you know, guards with rifles. And that's when I was like, oh my God, like this is prison. And then, you know, that's when the journey began.
What's the impact of this been on your family and your friends and your work life and your finances?
Oh my God, that's a great question. So, I mean, it's a miracle of God. Like I'm even like here in your studio today because, January 6th, it basically showed who your friends were, who your allies were, you know, who's in your corner, who's not. And, I mean, it completely changed my life, my family, you know, first. So when January 7th, when I came home, I had to put out all these fires because I was literally like public enemy number one, or the whole world hated us at that time. And I had to like convince my parents, and my parents were like, how could you do this? We raised you right.
Oh, no.
Like, no,
Mom's upset.
Yeah, Mom's upset. Dad is just...
That's the worst part about it all.
Exactly, yeah. So I convinced them, and I guess parents have a way of telling if their kids are telling the truth or not.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they were the first to come on board. But I did have some friends be like, oh, right on, like, you know that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a couple friends like, you should have gone further. Why didn't you cross the Rubicon?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, those are always good to have in your corner. But, yeah, it's just people that I've known since elementary school. They'd rather believe CNN than me. And I'm like, and I had to argue with them. They were like, go turn yourself in. You know, just do the right thing. I'm like, no, I'm not turning myself in. I didn't commit a crime, so I'm arguing with everybody. And I was with a great brokerage, and a mob formed on social media. This was before I was even arrested. Some communist screenshotted my social media and shared it with the left-wing community, and they went and attacked the brokerage I was with, and they, without even hearing my side of the story, they forced me to resign. But, you know, I have no hard feeling toward them because they were really good to me. You know, they helped me get my start in real estate. So, you know, that was just, and I understand, you know, everything, the news.
Optics.
Yeah, the news was just barreling against us, acting like we were like insurrectionists, all this stuff. But just thank God, you know, for family helping me during all this. And
that's a blessing.
Yes, sir.
So you go in 8 months. What's that like?
Well, so I was sentenced to 8 months in federal prison, and it was just eye-opening. Like I was homeschooled with a Christian education, went to Ezo Harding Christian School, and you know, then I go to prison, and there's like murderers, child molesters. You know, I'd never met a pedophile until I went to prison. You know, I was just, you always hear stories about people attracted to children, but it wasn't until I was in prison that I actually like seen these people. And it's just, you know, just eye-opening. And the prison, and what made things worse, the prison I was at was just a medium, and they downgraded, and they were still in the process of becoming a low security. And a lot of the inmates, they just didn't want to ship them, so they grandfathered them in. Oh. Yeah, so I'm in there with like medium security inmates, and there was one guy in there. When I started, he was serving a life sentence, and I've seen a man that had a 30-year sentence. I'm 32 years old, and he served a 30-year sentence and walked out free. And I'm like, wow, the world's totally different in 30 years, you know. But I mean, it was just wild, like being there was like real gangsters, and, you know, people that knew James Earl Ray and like Buford Pusser, all the people that Sheriff Buford Pusser arrested, you know, these guys that I was in with, they knew them.
That's crazy.
You know, yeah, it was just mind blowing. Yeah.
So you go through that experience and you get out, and I don't really want to gloss over the experience too much, but I do want to get to why you're here.
Yeah.
You decide that enough is enough, and you're throwing your hat in the ring.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I don't want to go back to 2020 and the Biden reign of terror. I mean, that's why I share with people I'm unvaccinated, because I can see, like, hey, this stuff's a farce. Like, this is oppressive. Like, this stuff, these vaccines are really, really dangerous. Like, we can't go along with it. And even with the election fraud, that thing, that was designed to, we were never supposed to have a fair election ever again. And it's just a miracle of God. Trump won in 2024 because, we were done. We were very bad trouble. So I don't want to ever go back to that. And the Democrats, they're not just going to throw their hands up. They're going to try to pick up where they left off. And so, they got a really crushing defeat. So it's going to take them to about 2029, 2030 and to pick up where they left off, if you will. So we got to keep this. We can't play political volleyball. We used to win an election, Democrats win the next one, we win one. We have a majority in the House, they have a Senate, whatever have you. We can never give them a majority in anything ever again. So that's why a true Republican has to take this seat. And so that's why I entered the race.
And you consider yourself a true Republican, a true conservative?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What differentiates you from the other Republicans in the race?
Yes, sir. Well, I believe in free market economy. Again, I'm against the vaccine. I believe in strong election integrity. I believe that this is a Jesus nation, a Christian Christian nation. So as a result of that, our laws need to reflect that. We can't be carrying out injustices in the courtroom and so forth. And I believe freedom of speech and also, too, with these universities, we got to stop these radicalization of our students and teaching left-wing value in public schools. So very strong about this.
Well, I'm excited to have you here. We got Stuart Parks in studio. He's running for Mark Green's seat in the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee. And we're going to open the phone lines up to you. This is the part of the show where we do Come At Me, Bro. So anything you want to talk to Stuart about, any questions you may have, call in 615-737-9986. We'll take your phone calls when we return. It's 1021. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. I love the Glock Store. What else is new? Well, I'll tell you something new that's going on at the Glock Store right now. It's called C-cuts. C-cuts are short for compensator cuts. These are little slots that are cut into the barrel and slide that redirect some of that bullet blast upwards into a V pattern. This is going to help you keep on target by reducing that muzzle flip, and it's going to lessen the recoil. These cuts are identical to the ones that were offered in the high-end Gen 3 compensated Glocks, but haven't been available in the latest models until now. The Glock Store will compensate your Glock in 10 days or less, and you'll end up with a flatter shooting gun with less recoil. This is pretty incredible. And if you want to try it before you buy it, the Glock Store's got you covered. You can buy a sample bullet pack for just $6.99, and you can shoot your choice of a C-cut Glock 17, Glock 19, or a Glock 43X. These C-cuts make a huge difference in all the models, but that 43X with the C-cut, oh my gosh, chef's kiss. Don't forget, bring your Glock or just the barrel and slide. You're going to want to start those 10 days sooner than later. That's at the Glock Store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere, always open online, glockstore.com.
Did you see this lunatic?
What's wrong with me? Oh,
right.
hey, smile for the camera, you little Nazi
That's
bitch!
enough.
Kill all Nazis! We won World War II! Fuck you! Kill all Nazis!
So that is a crazed leftist yelling at a Republican and calling him Nazis. When will the Democrats understand calling Republicans Nazis is anti-Semitic? Because when you do that, what you're doing is sanitizing what Adolf Hitler and the Nazis did. That, my friends, is anti-Semitic.
Kill all Nazis! We won World War II! Fuck you! Kill all Nazis!
what the Kremlin did last night that puts hopes of a lasting peace in jeopardy. And Texas Democrats are back and they are voting, and their efforts appear to have fallen short. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It's 10:25. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. I got a very special guest in studio. Stuart Parks is joining us. He is running for Mark Green's seat in the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee. And I think he could be a good option, one that you want to look at for sure. There's a lot of good options. We were talking about this off the air, and Stuart said to me, I think all the guys in the race are great. He didn't have a bad thing to say about anybody. I tried to coax it out of him, and he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't take the bait. Even now, you're not taking the bait.
They're great guys, and I think they're sincere and everything. I get along with them, and we don't mudsling because I'm just being transparent. We have received a large number of voters leaving candidates that mudsling, so that's just a wise strategy.
That's the way it goes. So Stuart's in here, and he's willing to take your questions. We call this segment "Come at Me, Bro." We got a caller on line 1, Steve in Nashville. What's your question for Stuart, Steve?
Hey, hello. My question for Stuart is, I recently met somebody that was an instructor for driver's license, and we were talking about this earlier. And what would you do about illegals coming in and getting licenses and stuff like that? How would you go about stopping that? Because they're sending their people over here from Libya and this, that, and the other. They train them down to a T, and they literally cannot refuse them their license. And I'm wondering why they can't refuse them. And I feel like we need to start watching those people more than anybody with these big trucks, of what they could do with those big trucks, the damage that they could cause, just like they did in Oklahoma and so on and so forth.
Yeah, hey.
That's kind of my question. What can you do about that?
Great question, Steve. So illegal aliens and driver's licenses. I mean, this is a big topic of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it yesterday. You saw the viral video of the illegal alien Indian native who pulls a U-turn on the highway, and a family in a minivan crashes into the 18-wheeler, and they perish. What can we do about illegal aliens and driver's licenses?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Shout out to Steve from Nashville for that. Well, the key word is illegal alien. They shouldn't be here, and so they need to be deported. That's my response. They shouldn't have never reached the point of being able to go to the DMV to get a license or whatever office to get those driver's licenses. They shouldn't even be here. So, now that they're here and they get those licenses, I still say they need to be deported. I have a zero tolerance towards illegal immigration, because you think about it, if they belittle and don't take our immigration law serious, how are they going to take our driving laws serious? So that's my response. They need to be deported. Yep.
Get rid of them. Just move on. I think that's the most fair, and the best thing to do is deport all of them.
Yeah, and we'll do it in a humane, classy fashion. We're not going to, do it violently or anything, but there's a proper protocol for fast deportation, and that's what we'll do.
Are you a fan of an illegal alien detention center in Western Tennessee?
If it's a temporary holding spot for them to be held, whatever, few hours a day or so, and then get deported, as long as it don't, as long as the voters and the people in that area, are in favor of it, I would be okay with it. But I don't want illegal aliens being sent there and then they're forgotten and they're held up, 14, 15 days, months, years, because I'll tell you this, when I was in prison, I stayed in prison 10 days longer than I was supposed to be out, because the incompetent Biden administration was so bad, they couldn't even meet an inmate's release date. That's how bad these diversity and affirmative action hires are. So, if the voters and the people in that area, and there's strong security, because these illegal immigrants are so dangerous, if we put it in near neighborhoods and they get out, that could wreak havoc and be dangerous to the residents of that community. So I'd be open to it. I'd have to look more to, make sure the security protocols are there and these people get deported. I don't want them held in our country and then, God forbid, another election fraud takes place and, these people get released in our community. I want them out of the country.
Yeah. I love it. All right, we got Stuart Parks in here. He's running for Tennessee's Congressional 7th District. If you got a question for Stuart, he is open to answer anything that is on your mind. A segment we call Come At Me, Bro, and we'll continue that segment after the headlines with Joan Jones, which starts right now on Super Talk.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Smooth. Need to put my hair new then.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Now, despite the hope of a lasting peace between Russia and Ukraine, the Kremlin has continued attacks on Ukraine.
While European leaders and President Trump were wrapping up their peace talks, Russia was launching more attacks on Ukraine. 270 drones and 10 missiles fired overnight and this morning, hitting 16 different towns and cities across the country. Here, smoke billowing over the Ukrainian city of Kremenchuk today. The city's mayor reporting dozens of explosions, with Russia again targeting energy and transport facilities.
That's ABC's Ian Pennell reporting. The strike between the Flight Attendants Union and Air Canada is now over. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
Air Canada was forced to cancel hundreds of flights and said that 500,000 customers were affected by the strike, both in Canada and the United States. In America, United is Air Canada's partner, and they told ABC News that very few United customers were affected.
Now the long restart process begins. A Texas bill to change the state's congressional district map advanced last night, hours after Texas Democrats returned to the state. That return ended a 2-week standoff.
At this stage, it looks like enough Democrats will be there for this session to continue to redraw those maps in a way that as many as 5 additional Republicans would be added to the delegation. So Democrats are saying that they won this battle by getting people to pay attention, by highlighting the inequities here, but it does look like they're going to lose the war because they still don't have the votes. They still don't have the real political power to stop what Republicans are trying to do in their state.
That's ABC's Rick Klein. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Are Democrats waking up to the fact that 80-20 issues aren't exactly a good look to defend?
To the average person, the murder rate's about life and death. You don't brag about a rising murder rate. And the Democrats are, I agree with you, Mika, they're falling into the trap of defending what's indefensible.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Yes, it's a trap. I mean, if it's not a winner politically.
I mean, I think she's right. It is a bit of a trap to root for these 80-20 issues, men and women's sports, boys in girls' locker rooms.
No, that's not 80-20. That's 97-3.
Fair. That's 97-3. But we also have illegal alien gang member, MS-13 members, Kilmar. Democrats defend him. We've seen Democrats rooting for a recession. All these 80-20 issues, and this is what made the Democrats realize it? How long until they forget again? It's 10:36, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. Mason Fleming, why would we need a water filtration system?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
That's a reason. BetterWater.com. I play that when I have company. I want to gauge their reaction. We got Stuart Parks in studio. Stuart is a J6 political prisoner. He is now free, and he's fighting for your freedom. He wants to represent you in the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee. Welcome to the show, Stuart.
Thank you.
How are you doing, man?
Doing very well.
Appreciate you taking some time to join us and answer questions from the listeners. This is a segment that we're calling Come At Me, Bro. And anytime a politician wants to come on the show to advance their political campaign, at least this show, I say you got to take questions directly from the voters. You got to take questions from the people. My questions, not the best questions. The best questions come from this audience. So without further ado, if you got a question for Stuart Parks, 615-737-9986. We got Thomas in Berry Hill. He's our first candidate on Come At Me, Bro. Thomas, you're on with Stuart. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing well.
Oh, just fine. Listen, I've been listening to 99.7 since Uncle Phil. I love your station. God bless you. My question for Stuart is all that he's been through with the January 6th and going through prison, how does that help him separate from all the other candidates and become a better congressman after going through all that mess? 'Cause apparently it's not easy to be an American anymore, a true American, but it seems like God and his family really got him through it, and I just wondered how would that make him a better candidate for Congress?
It's a good question, Thomas. Appreciate it. That's Thomas in Berry Hill. So your prison stint, what you went through in the court systems, how do you use what you learned there to become a better congressman for the 7th Congressional District?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you, Thomas from Berry Hill for that. So, several things that I learned from my January 6th experience in prison. You got to elect strong politicians, and good Christian politicians that, will do what they say and, say what they mean. I mean, so January 6th, you look at the votes that certified the election, and we had momentum. That was like our last line of defense to kick the votes back to the state to take a second look at it.
Right.
And then, they took a break and then came back, and we saw politicians that were going to contest the vote all of a sudden change their mind and push the fraud in. So once that happened, it was game over. I mean, now the Biden regime was ushered in, and now we're going to be living in hell for the next 4 years. So when you look at that, definitely you got to be strong, in times of crisis, and when America's counting on you, you got to do the right thing. So I've been canceled. I've been beyond canceled. So now they can't threaten me with, hey, we're going to cancel you if you don't vote this way or this.
You're like I've been gulagged.
Yeah,
what are you going to do to me?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And they can't threaten me with prison because I'm like, okay. I mean, I've been to prison.
Yeah.
Got along with the other inmates, that type of thing. So, I guess all fear and intimidation's out, and this is like a weird thing to say, but when you've been there with murderers and people that have killed all kinds of people and you're with them on an everyday basis, and then it's like, now I don't even look over my shoulders. Like, politicians don't even intimidate me, people in suits and different things. And now, I don't even get intimidated, which I didn't in the past, but especially now, some communist trying to, scare me into something. I just, I don't even blink twice, that type of stuff. So,
I could definitely see how that would translate into a role in Congress.
Yeah, and you think about it too. Congressmen and politicians, I get there's like a level of perception and professionalism and so forth, and you obviously want to keep, I guess, a good PR. But at the same time, you can't compromise and sell out your voters. So, some lobbyists or whatever, trying to threaten me, whatever have you, fake accusation, I'll be like, okay,
great.
No, I'm still, whatever. You're going to. Whatever, already been to prison. So
I actually think that's a great answer. We're talking to Stuart Parks. He's running for the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee, taking your questions live, 615-737-9986. Let's go to Dean in Nashville. Dean, you're on with Stuart. What's up, Dean?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Stuart, congratulations. I hope you can get up there and start making some changes, because really all this little stuff we're talking about, it's subsequential, because the bottom line is, we really need some term limits up here, and we really need, I believe, the way that starts is by campaign reform. We just can't have lobbyists and the big dollar people always being at the top of the ticket, because that's really not our best choices.
Your thoughts,
yeah.
Stuart?
Well, thank you, Dean from Nashville, for those remarks. And I agree with you. So kind of crazy, when I was in prison for January 6th, I read a lot. And in history, George Washington, the reason why he was so successful was he was successful in his finances and business. So the people believed that he was least susceptible to bribery. And so, that's why George Washington, founded a great nation and has a great reputation. So I believe, along with, with that candidates need to be, strong financially and should be able to fund, their own campaign, which I am. And that helps tremendously, because now, I'm not bought out by individuals or groups that District 7 is against. I can truly vote, what the district wants and answer questions.
How are you funding your campaign?
So I own several real estate businesses, so I'm funding through my real estate companies.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So you're self-funding.
Yes, sir.
That's impressive. 615-737-9986. If you have a question for Stuart Parks, he's running for the 7th Congressional District. That's Mark Green's seat. Brian in Thompson Station, you're on next with Stuart. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Well, I'm too blessed to be stressed. But,
I love it.
I saw this documentary on Prime. It's free to watch. And I listened to his story, and he really needs to watch the show. I feel like everybody needs to watch the show. It's called How to Survive Prison, and it discusses people that are not guilty and how the system is working in America today. They stack up a bunch of charges on you and tell you you're going to be in there for 20 to plus years, but here's a plea deal. If you say you're guilty, well, then we'll let you go today, or you get probation, or, it's all about metrics with the DA. And even if they come back later on and say they have genetic evidence, your lawyer does, that proves your innocence, the DA and the whole government just refused to look at it for years. It's a battle. It's amazing how corrupt. It really opened my eyes, and I really wish people would watch that show.
Well, hey, I appreciate the recommendation. I love the angle of the question, Brian. So what do you feel about prison reform?
It's got to happen. Oh my God! Again, I know it was under the Biden administration, but this thing has been happening behind the scenes. So I want to see these prisons be turned into boarding schools, like prestigious Christian boarding schools. Now, here's why. Because, the inmates that I was in prison with, I like to talk, and, I guess I campaigned in prison, if you will, just, talking to people.
When you get your voting rights back, I'm telling you, Tennessee's 7th Congressional District is a great place to live.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, talking to these inmates, and there's actually a lot of gold in prison. And what I mean by that is these inmates, like, they were flying drones into the prison, and just getting, whatever they needed, like cell phones, weapons. One guy said, if you want a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke, it'd be $500, but we can, we can get you a Big Mac into the prison. So
you're like, there's a lot of creativity and ingenuity in this place.
I mean, you got nothing to do, so it's amazing what people let their imaginations, drift off into. But I mean, and where I'm going with this, a lot of these inmates, I mean, they were making like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 sometimes in a week. And, obviously illegal, like horrible things. But, how are you going to convince that man once he's released to go work at McDonald's or, go to Chick-fil-A or, be a greeter at Walmart and just be a good guy? I mean, he's just not going to. The second that bill or the stress of life hits him, he's going to go right back to doing what he was doing. So what I want to do is teach these inmates, skills for high-paying jobs, not just not, and I love Uber drivers, but, not give them, a driver's license to go drive for Uber, which people do make good money. And I get along with, and I love Uber drivers, but I want to see people, these people, a lot of them are brilliant. And it's just unfortunate. I actually was shocked at the amount of people I met in prison that couldn't read. And, I'd never seen that before, honestly.
Really?
And that's hard to ask somebody that can't read to, follow the laws and, pay bills and so forth. So I want to see these people like have a skill. They're doing a lot of time in prison, and obviously they're gonna, we love justice, and justice will be carried out, for whatever they did. But instead of sitting around doing drugs and, doing gang stuff in prison, we can be sending them to classes and, teaching the Bible and so forth and actually changing them.
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's go to, we're talking with Stuart Parks. He's running for the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee. He's taking your questions. This is a segment we like to call Come At Me, Bro. Aaron in Sumner County has a question for Stuart. Aaron, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Stuart, lies along the lines of reform there. The quote of Merle Haggard song, I may live to be 100, never clear my name. And I think that people, once they have served their debt to society, it's truly about changing a person's direction. We should be willing to give them forgiveness when they, have paid their debt to society. Do you think that they'll be able to restore their gun rights and voting rights and all that effectively?
Gun rights
great
and voting
question.
rights and restoration. I mean, you've sat through that yourself, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so thankful. I think Aaron from Sumner
that was
County.
Aaron from Sumner County.
Thank you. Wow. You must have been reading my mind. So, I'm the only candidate that I'm aware of in this race that is willing and very passionate about doing away with these ridiculous gun control laws where somebody serves a prison sentence and then they get out and they can't have a firearm. I mean, people do change, and I have seen it in prison where people, gangsters, whatever, and they renounce their gang past and become Christian and, want to do the right thing. And, what do you say to that person now that, they're trying to start a family and they can't protect their family because, they got a felony or whatever and so forth. So, these gun laws have got to change. You can't, restrict the person's right to bear arms. And how I read it, that includes, criminal. And there's people that have weak moments and, whatever have you, and have to do some time in prison, but they've done the time. Now let them, get back on their feet.
So do you think that's across the board? Or do you think that that's on a case-by-case basis? Like, how would you go about restoring those rights? You could almost win me over with the voting. And I think you can win a lot of people over with voting, but I think that people are going to be a little bit more hesitant when it comes to firearms.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you ensure that if you were to restore those rights, that we're restoring it for the right individuals?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great question. So the idea of prison is that a person changes. They go to prison, they change. Now, you're going to have those people.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the idea. And now you will have, I've seen it. I talked to one guy in prison, and I was just being nice. I was like, and I shouldn't ask this, but I was like, well, what are you in here for? He's like, drugs. And I was like, well, okay, well, what are you going to do when you get out? And he's like, drugs. So I swear to God, true story. So, and I'm like, whoa, and he was serving like a several-year sentence in the prison I was at. So I was like, whoa, like you're going to go right back into it. And, he just had a rough upbringing, and that's all he knew was, the drug life and so forth. But to answer your question, it's, I'm going to say this. So I used to think, and I'm against drug dealing. I used to think drug dealers were, and they are some cartel members, all they do is evil. But a lot of these drug dealers that I was in prison with, like, they were like family men and women. And one guy in particular that I developed a great friendship in prison, like, he was a grandfather, and bless his heart, like, his kids just went off into some wrong things and they had children. He was against abortion, so he talked his kids into not having the abortion, and I'll just raise your kids, and so forth. So he was like a grandfather raising kids and the stresses of life, and he got off into drug dealing. And again, I'm strictly against drug dealing. He shouldn't have done it. And so forth. But he, so now, when he gets out, he's not going to be able to have a firearm. And I look at that and I'm like, well, he's got to like protect his family and so forth. So drug dealers have to protect their family and so forth. I know that's like highly unpopular, but I've seen this in prison, and so, I believe everybody, once you've done the time, you get out, you should have your voting and gun rights back. Now, everybody. Now, this is why innocent civilians and people in the, everywhere in the United States should carry a firearm, because in the event that person relapses, they're going to have access to a firearm, and they're going to anyway. Let's just be honest.
That's fair. That's fair.
I know it's I'm just answering your question. I mean,
they either get their rights to have it or they get one anyway.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You're right. I mean, these gun control laws, they don't work. And these people I was in prison with, like, that was why they were in prison with me, because they had firearm restrictions or couldn't carry a firearm. And they're like, they'll laugh in your face. They'll go get a firearm in 5 minutes, from somebody they know off the street. So that's why we've got to have it so that everyone in Tennessee and the United States can have easy access to a firearm to protect themselves. Because if somebody wants to kill you, they're going to kill you anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at states with really tight gun control, like New York City, and we saw a mass shooting over the weekend.
Exactly. I was in prison with people that could kill me with their bare hands. You know what I mean? Like, somebody wants you dead, you're gonna, they're gonna kill you. Yeah.
So
yeah, I know it's hot.
It is. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Restore the gun rights.
Yeah.
Blanket.
It's got to happen. I mean, I'm the only one in this race that can say that, because I've actually been to prison and seen these people. And again, I'm against drug dealing. I'm against crime. I'm a law-abiding citizen. And, just because somebody is a criminal, and again, I know this is like really touchy and hot and heavy, but, these people, I was in prison with grandfathers and grandpas that, couldn't work, and they had to sell their Adderalls and, whatever, the painkillers to make ends meet and support their grandkids. And so, even though I'm against that type of behavior, if they're out in the country somewhere and can't call the police and somebody's trying to rob them, they need to be able to protect themselves. So that's my take.
Hey, I like the honesty, man. Stuart Parks is running for the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee. He was gracious enough to spend some time with us today. How can we find you online, Stuart? Where can we keep up with you? Where can we learn more about your campaign and your platform?
Yes, sir. So parksfortn.com, you go on the website, and also go on my social media, Stuart Park. You can look me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, and so forth. And I'd love to have people support.
Okay, perfect. And before we go, I think just your last-minute elevator pitch for why you deserve that seat in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District.
Yes, sir. Well, if you thought what happened to me and everything we talked on the show about January 6th and, Colton Maccabee and the heroes that were there, if you thought that was evil, you haven't seen anything yet. The Democrats are not done. And we're looking at the Democrat side of District 7, which is District 7 is a Republican majority district. The problem is people don't know there's an election. So the Democrats are going to be coming out in full force, and it looks like it could be an AOC type candidate. Take the Democrat.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Well,
awesome.
I know.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So very serious. I mean, we need good Christian conservatives in office and prevent the AOCs from taking that seat. So that's why I'm running, to make sure, and I'm also very pro-Trump and want to see the Trump agenda passed, because District 7 is a Trump district. So.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking some time. That's Stuart Parks. He's running for the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee. If you want to learn more about Stuart, parksfortn.com. That's parksfortn.com. Thank you for the time today, Stuart. I really appreciate it. It's 10:55. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Great job, man.
Oh, thank you.
That was great. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you. I know it was hot and heavy, and I didn't,
I love it. Dude, the fact that you're what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. I love these guys, and you will too, especially if you're tired of the back pain and the neck pain and the knee pain ruining your life. You got to listen up because there's a deal at the Wellness Institute that could change everything for you. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special. I like to refer to it as the BDT. And for just $12, you're going to land a full exam, x-rays if needed, and a well-explained diagnosis, plus your first treatment. That's right. All of that for only $12. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, these guys are the best, and they're not going to give up on you, just like President Trump never gave up on America. Their patients say it all the time. They're like, why didn't I come here first? Don't let that be you. Go to the Wellness Institute of Nashville first. Whatever you're dealing with, they can help you out. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs. They'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. What you won't find, surgery, injections, painkillers. None of that. Grab your MRI. Get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today or visit them online, painisbad.com.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. I do see a crash, drivers. It is blocking the left shoulder, 40 westbound, just past the eastern split. And then in Laverne, we've got a crash on the right shoulder, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. Again, full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Tennessee 7th Congressional District special election. GOP candidate Stuart Parks on WTN's Chris Hand Show, Come At Me, Bro, where listeners ask the question, says prison reform is a major part of his platform. He says he'd like prisons turned into Christian boarding schools.
We love justice, and justice will be carried out, for whatever they did. But instead of sitting around doing drugs and, doing gang stuff in prison, we can be sending them to classes and, teaching the Bible and so forth and actually changing them.
Parks is a Nashville real estate developer. He gained public attention For the January 6th Capitol riot, he served time in federal prison but was later pardoned by former President Trump. Parks has openly stated his support for Trump, saying, President Trump was there for me. I'm going to be there for him. Hey, listen up. A new study shows a potential link between hearing aids and a reduction in dementia risk. The study conducted by the Framingham Heart Study, that nearly 3,000 adults who used hearing aids to combat hearing loss cut their risk of dementia by more than half. Researchers said those benefits weren't detected in adults who used hearing aids after age 70. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton has more on what signs to look for if you think you may have hearing loss.
If you're having difficulty following conversations, or if you're feeling like everyone is mumbling around you, or if you're frequently asking questions, and this is one of the telltale signs, if you feel like your TV or your radio is often louder than people prefer, those are signs that you should get your hearing checked.
With interest rates and home prices still high, those who do own their homes are staying put, but they're sprucing things up a bit. And ABC Sherry Preston says Home Depot's benefiting from that.
Home Depot says homeowners are putting off the bigger high capital projects like kitchen renovations and focusing on smaller, less expensive home repairs, which is helping the retailer's bottom line. The company's share price jumped 3% after reporting profits that were a little shy of what analysts had expected. What got traders buying was the fact that Home Depot stood by its earlier forecast for revenue and profit over the full year, not lowering it as some other companies have done recently. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Shout out to Stuart Parks for coming in. He's running for the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee. We had a great conversation with him. A great session of Come At Me, Bro. People are liking it. People are liking it.
It's a good segment, Brother Chris.
I texted Marsha Blackburn's people.
Yeah?
I said she needs to come on for an edition of Come At Me, Bro.
Have you heard back?
So they've passed along the request and my contact info to the political team.
All right.
I don't think she's going to do it, do you? Nah. I wish she would.
That would be great.
I wish she would. John Rose did it. That's what I said in the text. I may have dropped John Rose did it in the text.
Well, I mean, you're just putting the information out there.
We got to do it. We got to do it. So if you want to come on the show while you're running for office, you got to do Come At Me, bro.
I love how you're saying that you let him know that John Rose was in it, even though she obviously listens to the show every day.
That's true.
She's a big fan.
Anecdotally speaking, we're the #1 show for people running for governor in Tennessee. I don't know if you knew that. It's like really weird. It just seems like everybody that runs for governor loves the show.
Loves the show.
Current governors, maybe not so much.
Maybe not so much.
Just, I don't know.
Maybe not so much.
Might be because I constantly call him soft.
Just a little bit.
Could have something to do with that. Who am I to say? All right. Hey, I wanted to touch on D.C. Have you guys been paying attention to D.C.? There's a lot of fallout from the federalization of D.C.'s police department. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, you'll see the graphic on your screen. But I think it's important to highlight. This is what's happened since D.C. has come under federal control. Robberies down 46%. Carjackings down 83%. Car theft down 21%. Violent crime down 22%. Property crime down 6%. I could go on. If you're hearing screaming in the background, that's leftists melting down because they said that crime was already going down and this wasn't needed. Yet we see that it was very much needed. The FBI reporting that they've made 450 arrests since the crackdown in D.C., and millions of people are wondering, can you do my city next? Can you do Memphis? How about Chicago? Maybe Detroit, if you're keeping score at home. Maybe you could do it here next. A lot of people want it. And it's not hard to see why. U.S. Attorney for District of Columbia, Jeanine Pirro, announced that there have been over 400 arrests. I said 450. Those are the numbers that Kash Patel has been citing. But Jeanine Pirro said 400 arrests over the weekend. I'll let her explain it to you because she can do it better than I can.
Everyone, is Judge Jeanine filling you in on what's going on in the surge in Washington, D.C. We're at more than 400 arrests over the weekend, 127 this past weekend with our federal partners and this cooperative law enforcement effort. We seized 21 illegal guns. We've made arrests on warrants for homicide, sexual predators, drug trafficking, illegals. If you want to be in D.C. and you're a criminal, you're not welcome.
Well, the Democrats have to leave then. All of them. All of them. So some updates on those numbers. The White House official told Daily Caller's Reagan Reese on Monday morning that it's been over 380 arrests. Again, those numbers have been updated. Kash Patel saying 450 now. In about 11 days, 59 firearms have been seized. Over 160 illegal aliens have been arrested, and of those illegal aliens taken into custody, some were known gang members, others had charges for assault, burglary, drug smuggling, and other charges. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Now, you would imagine that everybody would be celebrating this, and the residents are. Every time I see a resident talking about what's going on in D.C., it does seem like they're very happy about it. Let's listen to this one resident. He's an older black gentleman, but let's listen to his take on the recent crackdown in D.C.
I think it's a good thing because, you know what I'm saying, it's better for the community and safer for the kids. Stop the violence, you know what I'm saying? Hugs, not slugs.
Hugs, not slugs. Stop the violence. Safer for the kids. That's what this is really about. It's about saving those juveniles. Because in all these situations where you have some young 15-year-old with an illegal firearm and he kills another 15-year-old over some BS dispute, over turf, over gang stuff, you're losing 2 lives. You're losing 2. You got one going in one box and another going in another box. One's judged by 12, one's carried by 6. You lose 2 lives. And what this is doing is saving a lot of these kids who might have made a bad choice on a Saturday evening with their knucklehead friends are now staying home. This is fantastic news. The positive impacts of this will ripple out for decades. Seriously. That's not hyperbole. That's the reality of the situation. But the Democrats, well, the Democrats are upset about it. Enter Representative LaMonica McIver. You may remember her from notable scenes as when she tried out for the Tennessee Titans offensive line. Sorry, no. That was a New Jersey ICE detention facility where she was pushing federal agents. She looked like she was trying out for the Tennessee Titans front lines. But she's got a theory when it comes to Trump and these crackdowns. And, well, I'll let her explain it to you.
When he says, oh, it's Liberation Day and all of these things, those are, ways of him saying, oh, it's white power. It's what I want to do. Those are racist remarks. His number one targets are cities that are led by Black mayors. His number one targets are cities that are sanctuary cities that, support immigration.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yep. Actually, spoiler alert, his number one target are cities infested with crime. And when the crackdown happens, do you know who's being made safer? Those Black residents in those cities. Now, he's only done it with D.C., and I hope that he spreads this out. But LaMonica McIver, he's only targeting Black mayors. He's so racist. Get ready. The racist rhetoric on Donald Trump is about to ramp back up. I've been watching a lot of headlines and watching a lot of news. The racism aspect of Donald Trump that the media likes to harp on, that's coming back, and it's coming back with a vengeance. Just get ready for it. And they're saying that he's targeting these cities because they have Black mayors. No. He's targeting these cities because they have crime problems. Who's the mayor is irrelevant to the situation. You have crime issues. And D.C. is now a safer place. But they'll scream, he's a tyrant. He's a dictator. And it's rich coming from someone like LaMonica McIver. We had Stuart Parks in here a little while ago, a J6 political prisoner who's now running for Tennessee's 7th congressional district. And with LaMonica McIver and people like her, Trump is a tyrant. It's like, you do understand that they could have you in a jail cell right now if he was the tyrant you claim he is, right? If he was this evil fascist dictator, you would be in a gulag right now, but you're not. You're out on bond after assaulting a federal officer. Yeah, take it to the bank. If roles were reversed and Democrats were in power and we saw a conservative do what we saw LaMonica McIver do, they wouldn't see the daylight for a while. Let's be perfectly honest. But Trump is a tyrant. He's a very, very bad tyrant. And I just go back to the residents. While LaMonica McIver is saying he's targeting Black folks, he's targeting Black mayors, he's targeting Black cities, the residents who also happen to be Black say this is great. This is making the city safer. It's keeping our kids safer. That's the reality of the situation. But there's protests. People are very upset. There were protests all weekend long. And there's a couple things that you need to notice about the protests. While LaMonica McIver gets on TV and says he's targeting Black cities and he's targeting Black mayors, and people aren't going to stand for this. Well, we have a protest over the weekend in D.C., and I don't know if you noticed anything about the protest, but it happens to be predominantly white. And many are saying, oh, this can't be organic when D.C. is 50% brown or Hispanic, as they like to tell us, and 95% of these protesters are white liberals, probably coming in from Northern Virginia, Loudoun County, taking the bus ride in. Maybe they're paid protesters. We talked about that on our Mostly Peaceful podcast over the weekend. Paid protesters. There's been a 400% increase in requests for paid protesters in D.C. since the federalization of D.C., and that's not according to me. That's according to Crowds on Demand CEO Adam Swartz. So is this organic, or is this completely fabricated? I mean, I think it's up to you. I think the outrage, we can say without a beyond a reasonable doubt, is fabricated. And there's a lot of faux outrage. Jamie Raskin, also very outraged. Jamie Raskin says Trump is creating a resistance to the monarchy and police domination in D.C. I kid you not. The monarchy. The monarchy. Trump for king. Who says no? Who says no?
Breeds.
Hang on one second. Sorry, I got too much audio running in the background. This is what I do this all the time when I'm playing all these video clips. I just let them continue to play. This is Jamie Raskin on the monarchy and the resistance to it in D.C.
Well, repression breeds resistance and opposition. We saw several weeks ago millions of people assembling across the country to say no kings here. And we are certainly in a moment when people are opposing monarchy and police domination by Donald Trump. So the people in Washington, D.C. are 713,000 tax-paying, draftable American citizens who have no representation in Congress. The Democrats passed D.C. statehood in the House a couple Congresses ago. Republicans have been opposing it categorically. Now Donald Trump wants to impose police ICE checkpoints all over D.C. And the freedom-loving people of Washington are not going to put up with that.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to put up with that. So let's hear from those local residents who are so irate over the monarchy. They can't believe that Donald Trump, this fascist, evil dictator, is doing what he's doing. Let's hear from those residents one more time.
I think it's a good thing because, you know what I'm saying, it's better for the community and safer for the kids.
Oh, yeah. Fight the power. Is that? Oh, sorry. He didn't say that at all, did he? No. He said it's better for the community. It's better for the kids. It's safer for the kids. But yet they're still so upset. So upset. It's a monarchy. It's police domination. No. This is what taking back our streets from criminal thugs looks like. This is what safety looks like. This is what leadership looks like. It looks like a monarchy. Sign me up. If this is what a monarchy looks like, sign me up. Sign me up. Stephen Miller, not taking any of this criticism laying down, as Stephen Miller tends to always let his voice be heard. He took to Fox News to talk about the recent crackdowns in D.C., and he says, well, since Trump took office, we're seeing these streets cleaned up, despite the liberal outrage.
The numbers are breathtaking. Since President Trump asserted federal control over our nation's capital in Washington, D.C., we have seen a record number of violent offenders, bad guys, gang members, and all kinds of threats to public safety removed off the street, as well as their illegal weapons that they've been using to terrorize the citizens of this city. Additionally, we have seen over 70 homeless encampments that have scarred and disfigured the public streets of this city, dismantled and thrown away, and the homeless cleared from those encampments. At the same time, we have the National Park Service going around and getting rid of the gang graffiti that has been left untouched by this city for decades. Since I've lived here, I moved to Washington, D.C. 20 years ago. And I've seen graffiti in some of our landmarks that has gone unremoved for decades, that is now being cleared away. You have gang members that are being taken off the streets. You have druggies that are being taken off the streets. You have our parks being made safe again, our transit being made safe again.
And the liberals are still outraged. The graffiti, too. Low key, that's a big move, removing the graffiti. If you allow the graffiti to stay up in your city, you're saying, I don't care. You're saying this doesn't matter. And you're sending the wrong message to the citizens. It might seem so small, but the impact is so big. I lived in Detroit for a couple of years, and I remember thinking to myself, golly, this is in Pontiac, too. This isn't even in Detroit proper, but in Pontiac, the old Silver Dome had been up for years and years and years, and there were homes across the street. And I remember thinking to myself, if you're a little kid growing up and every day all you see is the rotting Pontiac Silver Dome, what hope do you have for a better tomorrow? What hope do you have for the future? And the same can be said about graffiti in some of these big cities. If you wake up every single day and you see this dingy, dirty, nasty graffiti that signifies a gang territory. What hope do you have for tomorrow? What hope do you have for your city? It seems very small, but the impact is very, very big. They're not slowing down when it comes to cleaning up D.C., and I hope that they take it to another city very, very soon. It's 11:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash, and I got to dispel a rumor for you. You think that you have to wait for open enrollment to switch health insurance and start saving money, right? It's not true. That's what the big guys want you to think. That's not the reality. With Cover Nash, you can get covered right now. You can switch right now with no waiting and no gimmicks. You missed open enrollment? Cover Nash has you covered. You lost your coverage because you lost your job? Cover Nash has got you covered. Are you sick of overpriced junk insurance? Well, you're in the right place. Cover Nash has you covered. They partner with over 75 top-rated insurance companies, including brand new nationwide PPO options with deductibles as low as $250. Flat doctor visits at just $50, even for specialists. ACA-compliant plans with free preventative care like physicals, colonoscopies, the works. Plans for individuals, families, self-employed, even small businesses. Stop overpaying, stop waiting, and stop thinking you're stuck. Go to covernash.com or call 615-465-0023 and talk to Shane today. That's 615-465-0023. Health insurance on your term, not the government's. Covernash.com. So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights, to build trust, and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
Chalk one up for the Evolve weapons detection system again in Nashville. Tell you what happened at Maplewood High School today. That's at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It's 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You remember yesterday we were talking about the story with the trucker? Like right at this time, actually.
Yeah.
The illegal alien trucker from India who did the U-Haul. He did the U-turn with his 18-wheeler, and A family crashed into his truck because he did it on a highway. Family perished. Well, we have an update on that case. And the update is DHS slamming Gavin Newsom for falsely claiming that that illegal alien immigrant trucker who killed 3 in Florida was granted a work permit by the Trump administration. Yeah, there's a lot of developments. California Governor Gavin Newsom's press office, they've been doing a lot of trolling on Twitter. Have you seen that? They've been doing a lot of trolling on Twitter. But they said that illegal alien, Harjinder Singh, who has been charged with vehicular manslaughter after making a U-turn on a Florida highway, was granted a work authorization. This happened on Monday. Newsom's press office on Twitter said, "Hey, Commander Cosplay, the federal government, you, already confirmed that this guy meets federal and state immigration requirements. You issued him a work permit. Oops. As usual, you are either lying or clueless." Now, that post came in response to one from DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who wrote 3 innocent people were killed in Florida because Gavin Newsom's DMV issued an illegal alien a commercial driver's license. This gut-wrenching tragedy should have never happened. My team at DHS will work with U.S. DOT to root out and prevent illegal aliens from obtaining these licenses from sanctuary jurisdictions that put American drivers and passengers in danger. DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin, wrote in a response to Newsom's press office when they claimed that Trump gave him the work permit, that the Trump administration said false. Harjinder Singh is in the United States illegally, and his work authorization was rejected under the Trump administration on September 14th, 2020. It was later approved under the Biden administration on June 9th, 2021. The state of California issues commercial driver's licenses. There's no national CDL. Sincerely, genius. Singh has been charged with vehicular manslaughter in connection with a deadly crash on the Florida Turnpike last Tuesday. Singh was driving that semi-truck and made a U-turn from the right lane into a turnaround marked official use only. We all see those on the highway, right? Emergency vehicles only. A minivan driving in the left lane was unable to stop in time, resulting in the death of the 30-year-old man in the driver's seat and 2 passengers, 37-year-old woman, 54-year-old man. And instead of using this as, I mean, I don't even know what you'd use it as if you're a Democrat. Like, would you just send out your thoughts and your prayers, please? They tried to use this as a tool against the Trump administration. It backfired epically. This is the state of Gavin Newsom. This is the state of California. There are many blue states that are having these issues. Maybe a national CDL is the way to go. Maybe it's not. I'm not a trucker, but I'd let you guys weigh in on the text line in the YouTube chat. Appreciate when you do. 615-737-9986. We got a lot more to cover, and we're going to do so in the lightning round, which is on the way. And we got some stories for the lightning round, boys. We got some stories. Social justice is back on the menu at the NFL. Did you know that?
Ooh, I didn't, but I'm ready.
We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the new cheerleaders as well. What do you think about the new cheerleaders?
Haven't been paying attention.
We don't think of them at all.
Nope.
It's 11:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers got a crash blocking the right lane of 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Also on 24, this going westbound in Laverne. A crash off on the right shoulder there at Old Hickory Boulevard. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Tennessee 7th Congressional District special election coverage. Nashville real estate developer Stuart Parks is one of more than a dozen GOP candidates in the running. He came on WTN's Chris Hand show, Come At Me Bro segment, where listeners ask the questions. Parks said prison reform's a major part of his platform, not just in prison, but also after.
I'm the only candidate that I'm aware of in this race that is willing and very passionate about doing away with these ridiculous gun control laws where somebody serves a prison sentence and then they get out and they can't have a firearm. I mean, people do change, and I have seen it in prison where people, gangsters, whatever, and they renounce their gang past and become Christian.
Parks served time in federal prison for involvement in the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol riot, later pardoned by President Trump. Parks says President Trump was there for me. I'm going to be there for him. Right now in Nashville, a 17-year-old arrested today for having a gun at Maplewood High School. It was in his backpack as he went through the Evolve weapons detection system. And authorities say he could not tell them how that gun got in there, or at least wouldn't tell them. Clarksville police say they arrested a suspect who fired shots at a vehicle over the weekend on Tiny Town Road near Tower Drive. They say 21-year-old Kabari Carr was a passenger in another vehicle, pulled alongside the victim's car, fired several rounds. The driver was not hit by any of the bullets in what police are calling a targeted attack. Carr was arrested yesterday in Stewart County, taken back to Clarksville. Bond is set at $75,000. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water. We talk about Better Water all the time because you need to stop drinking the junk out of your tap, and there could be some nasty stuff coming out of your tap. We're talking E. coli. We're talking iron, sulfur, chlorine, bacteria. And if you got that nasty stuff in your water, Better Water will give you a range of options to clean it up. Reverse osmosis, water softener, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it, Better Water has you covered. If you don't know if you have that nasty stuff in your water or not, Better Water will test your water for free. These guys are awesome. Local company based out of Smyrna. They serve all of Middle Tennessee, and you've probably already tasted their work. They treat the water at the local coffee shops around town. They treat the water at the hospitals as well. So if you are tired of bathing in nasty water, tasting nasty water, water that smells bad, give Better Water a call today, 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063, or you can find them online at betterwater.com. It's 11:37. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I haven't asked you to do it in a while, so go ahead and find me on True Social, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All of them are the same. Hit the follow button. I will follow back at Chris Hand on air. Thank you for doing so. Thank you. Find us on YouTube and Rumble. Watch the show. Why would you want to watch the show? We got video for all the audio you hear. Hit like, hit subscribe, please. Thank you. I got all these kids, and I'll be honest with you, it's a tall task to feed them. And we've been spicing it up. We're doing bread and water. Occasionally it's toast and ice chips. But they're really asking for something more. And I said to the kids, as soon as we get the likes up, we can get some good food. They said anything. Chicken? I said, we're going to need a lot of likes for that.
Yeah, I heard they shared a piece of bologna last week.
Dude. And it's thanks to this great audience.
And we appreciate it.
It's unbelievable what you guys are doing for these kids. So if you don't want the kids to go hungry, hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much in advance. The kids thank you as well. I don't know why, but this bumper music is perfect.
It's so good.
As we guilt the audience into liking and subscribing to help feed the kids.
Please, 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 please.
With like the saxophone. You wouldn't want them to go hungry, would you?
Would you?
Would you? Don't answer that. Some of the audience is like, yep.
Yeah, don't feed them.
Hate listeners.
We appreciate you too.
We do. Hit like. You can even hit dislike. It helps us tickle the algo no matter what.
You're appreciated regardless.
Irregardless, some would say.
Irregardless. Yeah.
Irregardless. Without further ado, it is time for the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Yeah, we do it every day this time. We run through all the stories that we didn't have a chance to. All the stories that wouldn't make a full segment. And anything that you want to weigh in that we talked about or didn't talk about, 615-737-9986. Any last-minute hot takes, ice-cold takes in the lightning round? Well, the floor is yours. I want to start with this first story in the lightning round. I wanted to do it yesterday, but we got off on the trucker story.
Which I think was good coverage, for sure.
When you're anecdotally the number one show for truckers in Middle Tennessee, you can't turn them away when you get a good story.
No, absolutely not. I think I didn't put down the phone until 2 minutes before the show was over.
Yeah, it's perfect. Great. We got to keep Mason moving.
I'm here for it.
We don't need sedentary producers. Is that how you say it? Sedentary?
Sedentary, yeah.
Sedentary. We don't need our producer to be sedentary.
Nah.
Thank you very much. NFL, first story in the lightning round.
Almost hit the theme again. So eager for it.
Now, I know a lot of the audience is probably like, here he's going to talk about the gay cheerleaders. I could. Not mad. Just disappointed. I'm going to talk about what else they're doing.
What else are they doing?
Well, they're bringing back social justice in a big, big way.
Oh.
And I mentioned earlier in the show that they're going to bring back the racism narrative for Donald Trump. And I'm watching the tea leaves in culture, and I see everybody focusing on social justice again. And the NFL is doing that one more time. Apparently, they had stopped the end racism stencils in the end zone, and that was a mistake because everybody immediately got racist. So they're bringing it back to fight racism. All 32 NFL teams this year will be forced again to stencil a social justice message in their end zone. There are some options, though. The first one's going to be pretty popular. End racism. Okay.
I mean, I support that. That's understandable.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But for the teams that don't want to support ending racism, there are other options.
Oh.
So if you see any of these other options, just know that they chose not to end racism, because that's what it means.
They're actually for it?
There's 5 options. Number 1 is obviously going to be end racism.
Yeah.
But there are going to be teams who choose not to end racism.
Wild.
These are the other options. Stop hate.
Okay.
Choose love. I know which one Minnesota's taking. Inspire change. And the last one's my favorite. It takes all of us. And that one's my favorite because the NFL has consistently alienated at least, 75% of their core audience.
Oh, absolutely.
With every dumb decision the NFL makes, they take their core audience and they spit on them. Like, it's just dudes watching football. Like, that's all we want. That's all we want. And you've ruined it. Congratulations, NFL. You have ruined football. From the male cheerleaders to the social justice messaging to reminding us all the time how we're bad for being evil white men. This is just another example. I'm going to choose hate, and I'm going to hate the NFL. That's what I'm doing. I'm combining them. I'm combining the slogans.
Choose hate. It takes all of us.
Choose hate. It takes all of us. Inspire racism. End change. Now, let's do a word jumble. That's what I would do if I owned an NFL team. Are they called owners still in the NFL, or do they change that to governors too because owners was too racist? I know that's what they did in the NBA. So stupid. I own the team. Yes, I paid for it, but I'm the governor. Okay.
Got to make everything political nowadays.
It's got to be about racism, right? They did that because of the slave dynamics.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't be an owner. It's like they never talk about the fact that it was black people in Africa that sold black people to the slave traders. They never bring that up. They never bring up that black people in America also owned slaves. They never bring that up. And they never bring up the fact that only 2% of white Americans at the peak of slavery, only 2% owned slaves. They never bring that up. Inspire change, though, right?
Love hate.
Got another story for you in the lightning round. This one comes out of Minnesota, don't you know? Minnesota.
It's almost close to where you're from.
It's almost close. It's close enough. How close is
that to Vancouver? You would know.
Hop and a skip.
Ah, yeah, easy.
Just a quick goose ride. We'll get you over there.
Up a bobsled.
That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need. Let's talk about the guy that's running for mayor in Minnesota, don't you know?
Oh, don't you know?
Omar Fateh.
Ah.
Now, fun fact, Fateh translates into conqueror if you're going from Arabic to English. Do the Google Translate. I did it so you don't have to, but if you want to double check my work, you're more than welcome to. Translates into conqueror. And it just feels so apropos because this Omar Fateh individual, he's in the great state of Minnesota, don't you know? And he holds a rally in Minnesota the other night. And I don't know, there's a couple things that I did notice. Okay. The first is there's a stunning lack of American flags here at this scene, at this rally. And there's a shocking lack of English being spoken at this rally.
Assalamu alaikum.
That's Omar Fateh.
Yes, Edo. Yes, Edo. Yes,
So
Edo.
Charlie Kirk posted this video, and he had some questions. How are these people bettering America? Do they look like they're assimilating? And we have to start asking, what is an American? Good questions that deserve answers. That's Omar Fateh. A lot of interest is being paid towards Mamdani in New York, but I think that we should also pay equal interest to what's happening in Minneapolis in their mayoral race with Omar Fateh. It's something we'll be keeping an eye on here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And it leads me to the next story in the lightning round, which is a civil war brewing in the United Kingdom? Oh, top army officers are predicting, British Army, are predicting civil war as rabbit in headlight leaders are incapable of political solutions. Retired British Army Colonel Richard Kemp has said the primary risk the UK faces is from an alliance of the hard left and Islamist extremists, and that he fears civil war because politicians are too myopic to take action. Colonel Richard Kemp, high-profile infantry officer who fought counterinsurgency on home ground in Northern Ireland in the 1980s, served in the Gulf War and Bosnia, commanded an Afghanistan operation, and had political-facing senior roles in Westminster, including the powerful Joint Intelligence Committee and the Cabinet Office Crisis Center, COBRA, has expressed concern about unrest and even civil war potentially breaking out in Britain. The colonel's comments come in many regards, echo those by top academic David Betts, professor of war in the modern world at King's College London's prestigious War Studies Department, who says his research has led him to believe the classic preconditions for civil war are already present in many Western nations, particularly in the UK. And I would make the argument civil war seems a bit much because one group consists of migrants and the other group consists of citizens. So I don't know how that fits the Civil War. But I bring it up after the Omar Fateh because I do think that we're going to find ourselves in a very similar situation that Britain finds themselves in. We're always 10 years, a decade or so away from what's happening in Europe and in the UK coming right here to America. And we see this being repeated over and over again with political guys like Omar Fateh in Minneapolis or Zohran Mamdani in New York City. And it brings me to this clip that I saw of Charlie Kirk. Tommy Robinson reposted this, and if you're familiar with anything in Britain, you know who Tommy Robinson is. He got in trouble for, telling the truth. And this is a longer clip than I'd like to play, but it's Charlie Kirk, and he's at the Oxford Academy, at the Oxford Union, and he sends them a warning that Britain is going to be unrecognizable, and in many cases, it already is. And I want to play this. It's about 3 minutes, but it's so worth it. It's so good. This is Charlie Kirk issuing a warning to Oxford Union, and I think that as Americans, we need to pay particularly close attention to this warning because in no time, if we don't correct course, this warning is going to be for us as well.
If you dislike the West, and if you hate the West's values, if you think the West is evil fundamentally and deserves to be destroyed, then anything Donald Trump does basically short of surrender will be too far for you. If I was visiting this school 100 years ago, speaking in support of an American president, I think we would at least have some broad agreement on what a country's leader should be trying to do. But we don't anymore. I don't think it's because America's changed. In fact, I think it's because Britain has changed. From my perspective, Britain is one of the greatest countries in the history of the world. You were the country of Shakespeare, the steam engine, and Adam Smith. You defeated Napoleon. You destroyed the slave trade. You stood up to Hitler. My country, America, became great as it is because of what we inherited from you, from Britain. When I hear the slogan, "Make America Great Again," I'm also hearing, quote, "Return America to its British roots." Great Britain has everything in the world to be proud of. But when I look at Britain today, I see a country where the ruling elites are in a race to abandon the very values, the values that made them so great in the first place. I wish I could blame this all on labor, all on the left, but I can't. This country just had its 14th uninterrupted year of so-called conservative rule.
Listen, I don't mean to stop it, but when he says that, doesn't it make you look around and go, oh, we're that supermajority conservative red state, Tennessee, and then we see all these things that happen in our state, and we're like, that's not very conservative. Yeah.
And what did they conserve exactly? Well, they didn't conserve the ancient British rights to freedom of speech. In Britain today, 30 people a day are arrested for offensive posts on social media, according to The Telegraph. Praying silently within 600 feet of an abortion clinic can get you arrested in Scotland, as a 74-year-old woman named Rose just learned weeks ago.
True story.
Members of Parliament scold British citizens for thinking they have the right to say that they do not have the right to say things that offend Muslims. 14 years of conservative rule didn't conserve British prosperity. Adjusted for inflation, cost of living, the average British worker makes less today than they did in 2008. Outside of London, the British have lower incomes than every one of America's 50 states, and it never used to be this way. British industry pays 4 times as much for electricity as America does. You have the highest electricity rates in the world, a consequence of a choice of going net neutral. Nothing will kill a modern economy faster than high energy prices. And the country that invented the steam engine now has some of the highest energy prices on the planet. But above all, 14 years of conservative control didn't preserve the British nation. This country's conservatives thought it was their moral duty to allow anyone from the third world to move here. They didn't need to hold Western values. They didn't need to have useful skills. They could go on welfare immediately. Just last week, Keir Starmer announced he's changing the law to make sure immigrants who commit crimes are deported, because the conservatives never actually bothered passing that law themselves. The dying out of the British nation means the dying out of Christianity. Britain is the birthplace of Baptists, Methodists, Presbyterians, Anglicans, Quakers, and more. I would guess that more Christian denominations trace back to Britain than any other country. But soon, Britain will have more practicing Muslims than practicing Christians. I think that will be a catastrophic change, and everyone knows it. That's why it's only Muslims moving to Christian countries, never the other way around.
Oof.
I don't want America to go the way of Britain. I want us to remain free. I want us to remain rich and innovative. I want us to remain Christian. I don't want Americans to be replaced. But forget what I want. This is what the American people want.
And that's why the American people voted for President Trump. But a lot of the warnings that Charlie Kirk has for the Oxford Union, we could take those same warnings and internalize them and look around at America and say, yeah, we have those issues too. Just something to keep your eyes on, something to fight against. We need to keep America American. We need to preserve our culture and our identity. And we got to do it. We got to do it together. It's 11:53. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res of Nashville. I love Zero Res. When I was moving in my younger years, I moved a lot. And I always used Zero Res because it was the cheapest option. 3 rooms for $109. So when you're moving out of an apartment and you got to clean those carpets, it was always an easy choice. But now, as a dad with 4 young kids, I choose Zero Res because of how they clean the carpets. They use their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue, which means the carpets and the upholstery don't just look insanely clean, they stay clean longer. And then the kids can sprawl out on the floor, dogs can roll around, and I don't have to worry about what's in those fibers. And Zero Res does it all. It's not just carpets. They do air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. It's perfect for back-to-school season when you're taking your house back after the summer chaos and all the dirt the kids tracked in. Right now in August, you can get those 3 rooms for just $109, plus 20% off area rugs, upholstery, air ducts, and more. Just call Zero Res of Nashville, 615-535-9376, 615-535-9376, or find them online, ZeroResNashville.com. Elon Musk's privately funded tunnel from downtown BNA.
The most cutting-edge transit systems in the world.
They call it the Music City Loop. We call it the BNA hole.
We've submitted a list of questions, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity to get answers.
Questions like, how does a tunnel work? Or how can I be the biggest a-hole in the room without even trying? Because clearly, the fiscally responsible thing to do is to keep traffic backed up until every driver becomes an a-hole. The BNA hole. Zero cost to the taxpayers, and that's the real problem for the left.
I kind of think that's on brand.
Not enough opportunity to play tax collector a-hole. The BNA hole, where progress goes to upset liberals. But a lot of these protesters are paid. There's a story, Crowds on Demand CEO, 400% increase, surge for requests for paid protesters.
Yep. Protester requests have increased 400% since President Trump announced the federal takeover of D.C.'s police department.
No, none of this. I mean, we've seen this time and time again, where they've got all of these different protests and it goes on. Where it feels like it's every couple of weeks they've got another protest going on.
It is time to unite, not to fight each other the way they want us to do.
And they keep offering, looking for people to protest. And I don't think there's this groundswell of anger that they're trying to convince the American people that there is.
We mix and match. It's 11:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I was just telling Chad about the social justice slogans in the NFL. End racism, stop hate, choose love, inspire change. It takes all of us.
So choose racism?
Choose racism. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's going to be teams that choose not to end racism. And it's like, guys, what are you doing?
No doubt.
And I think that we need to highlight those teams.
That is, it's going to be interesting. I think they're doing that to take all of the pressure off those two cheerleaders for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, it's not just the Vikings. Like, everybody's doing it.
Those guys, they do it extra.
They're the fanciest.
They are the fanciest, the fancy lads.
I don't watch the NFL. I can't bring myself to do it. I stopped during the summer of love. It got too woke for me.
Did you? I watch the NFL, but I watch college football. Yeah,
I can't do it. I'll watch college football. We'll watch UVA with the wife. That's her college team.
So
other than that, I'm out.
You're out?
I'm out.
You're out?
I'm out on the NFL.
I watch football. I like the NFL. I like the NFL, and I like I didn't even know they had cheerleaders outside of the Cowboys, so there you go.
There you go. Chad's in next. What are you talking about?
You know what? Skibbity toilet. Pretty much it. All skibbity all day.
All right.
All right. We're going to get skibbity for sure because you're Delulu.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
For sure.
How did your wife feel about trad wife being put in there?
She thought it was already in there.
Oh.
Yeah, we were joking about that today.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, skibbity. Skibbity.
My wife said, I'm down. I'm down with the trad wife stuff.
I didn't even know what, I'm like, you have to dress like it's the 50s too. And I need my slippers and my my pot roast every night.
Oh, well, you're not as advanced as we are.
Yeah, she just
I got her in the red Handmaid's Tale.
That's awesome.
That's what we make her wear. It's 12:01. Chad's in next. It's Super Talk 99.7